This is the Actor Factor podcast with Brad Ashton and Diego Garcia. Today's guest is storyteller Travis Abels.
How's it going, everybody? Happy day to you. I am Brad Ashton.
Diego Garcia, welcome.
Man, welcome to you too. Welcome to everyone who's listening. What is up?
Good day, man.
You got something happening?
What's happened? Do I have something happening? Yeah. Well, yeah, man. I love how you say that.
Still breathing?
Something happening. Yeah, I guess we always have something happening, right? But yeah, there's something. I felt like I got close on something. You know, when they say, hey, we'll put you on a veil, we want to check your availability.
Yeah.
I guess 15, 20 years ago, you'd be like, you know what? I think I got this. But now you can't really think that way. It's like,
yeah.
I feel like it's one of those things where like you're not the only one they're considering at that point.
Yeah.
But
what's the project?
But I was excited about it. It's some film to be in LA. It's Jen Garner, Ed Helms is in it.
Wow.
I think. And I had this audition I had the self-tape back in November, and it was a guy that works in the architect firm where Jen Garner's character works.
Yeah.
And I'm on my motorcycle the other day, and well, long story short, I didn't get that one.
Oh man, don't spoil the other.
Because I didn't get it, but this is why I'm saying that, because the days they asked me to be available for came and went, right?
Oh yeah,
they don't really tell you anything after that. And then a few days ago, I get another call for an audition for the same film.
Oh wow!
And then that's when you start thinking, okay, this is cool, because maybe they obviously were considering me already for this thing. So maybe they just they're
putting you in it.
Yeah,
they're gonna find you a spot.
I think that's cool. I think it's a good feeling whether it happens or not. It's nice to be thought about,
dude. I'm gonna say this one's gonna happen. I got a good feeling.
So I sent in another little self-tape right away just the other day, and just kind of now we're just waiting again. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, nothing's really going to happen now. I think the holiday break's about to kick in, and people are just going to go into hibernation for a minute. But
yeah, man. But that's still good. That's exciting news. That's freaking fantastic.
No, it's awesome.
No, it's very creative. Oh, gosh, man, that cool.
I mean, we're just talking about just getting involved in something, man. Whether you have lines or not, just getting involved in there and on that kind of production is what it's about.
That's exactly it, man. You got to work. You got to find projects to jump into. You got to stay active. You got to stay creative.
What are you doing for that right now?
Well, yeah, that's a really good question, man. I'm still collecting a bunch of Transformers.
Yes, I actually noticed those. You're literally going back in time.
I taped 2 auditions this week. Yeah, we could talk about the Transformers all day long. I mean, I really do love them, and I'm getting rid of all the TV movie series ones that just came out 20 years ago, and I want the ones that came out 35 years ago. So I don't want the more vintage stuff, original in the box with the stickers and all that jazz, and it's harder to find those, so it kind of makes the hunt more fun.
I always wonder about I was just going to ask you, like the hunt, right? You're calling up or you're emailing people that are there. First of all,
flea bait.
There's some people that have these that they're not going to let you know they have them.
That's right.
They're not going to get rid of them.
That's right.
If you had their number, that would be pretty. You would have to have some serious money to help to negotiate for something like that.
Yeah, those things really aren't cheap.
So really, you're just kind of surfing and seeing who's letting go of what.
Which ones that I can add to my collection. Yeah, and it's got to be G1 1984. Original in the box. I only will buy them in the box because I want the original packaging so I can display them.
1984, why?
1984. That's the original G1 Generation 1 Transformers when they came out. That's when they were created. They were launched and came out the first generation. And those are the ones that I've got sitting over there and lots collecting them. But, I did have 2 auditions. I digress. I had 2 auditions this past weekend. And I thought did you actually help? I can't remember. When did you called me?
Oh, yeah.
We did one, right?
FaceTime with you and did a scene.
That was one. Yeah. Okay. So I had that one. Nothing.
Nice.
And then I had another one. Nothing.
But which is still something, which is weird because that's how we stack our experiences through auditions, reading script, small as they come.
Yeah. We
still get to go through that process of getting as much information out of that as we can to do something and put it on tape and boom, send it, right?
Sure.
But that's looking on the brakes.
Yeah. Oh man, it gets rough. It's hard. It's you start thinking, gosh, man, why not this one? Both of them I was actually really right for. I was just, I thought I could play these parts. These are good roles for me. finally something that's solid, right in my strike zone. Let's hit a home run. And then I felt like I at least got on base, but I guess not, man. And on to the next one.
Yeah, they don't tell you if you made it to second or third, or how close you are.
You're not going to really generally get the feedback, So they might have liked me, they might have liked my tape, but they might just be like, not this for this guy, something. Yeah. You never know.
No, that's the toughest part of I think, guys, is being an actor, is that we want that response, right? That's how we feed that energy. When we do live theater, we get that immediately, but we don't always, maybe in film you can get it super quick. Once they cut, people will let you know immediately how they feel. But in this world of auditioning, where you're just submitting all the time and you're getting no feedback, it's like,
it's a mental thing. Don't break me. Don't break me. They're building buildings out here. Hi guys, I hope it doesn't all fall down.
It's LA. They're building something somewhere.
There's always something going on, huh?
I was going to say, though, back to your Transformer thing, because over the years, I know when it came out, I know my kid brother would enjoy the Transformers so much more, just because of just a little gap there.
Yeah.
But for the first time, I saw the trailer that's coming out for the new Transformers movie.
Really? No, I have not seen it.
Dude, I'm already a fan now.
Really?
It looks sick.
Get out of here.
Dude, we'll look it up in just a minute.
How about we check it? We check it on the break before we get into our guest.
Let's get into our
Let's actually just go do that. No, let's go check. I want to check the Transformer trailer, and then we'll get to the interview. Can we do it?
Absolutely.
All right. Time. Thank you. Here we go.
You're listening to The Actor Factor.
All right, man. I am so excited to have our guest with us today. As I know Diego is.
Yes, sir.
It's been quite a while since I spoke to my old friend Travis Abels, who was an amazing director, producer, amazing editor. I knew him as an editor, but he's doing so much more now. He's just grown. He's grown and developed in this industry. Here we go. We're going to talk to him, but welcome to the show, Travis.
Thank you so much. Exciting to be talking with y'all again.
I'm super geeked out about this because it's been a while and I want to catch up with you. And I've been a bad friend and haven't made a phone call in 10 years.
Let's start it off this way, though, Travis. Like, we like to ask all our guests, like, what are you doing right now? Is there a project you're in the middle of, or something you're just coming off of? What's going on?
Oh, wow. Yeah, okay. Sure. Well, just to hop right in the sauce, I am in the middle of a trailer right now. It's for this horror flick. Cool. Which is really fun to do because it's I feel like it subverts any expectation of how you're supposed to make it. There's not like if you're on an indie drama and you're like, okay, what's the swelling music track that's going to take me through this thing? With horror, I feel like you just have to constantly be twisting it and turning it and stopping it and starting it, and it's really limitless. And your only guideline is really to just ratchet up tension and release it, and ratchet it up and ratchet it higher and release it and ratchet it higher. So it's a fun one to play with. It's also very challenging. So it's definitely racking my brain. But at this very exact moment, I'm sipping coffee. I'm in my kitchen nook. I'm surrounded by my watercolor set, which I like to dabble with.
Oh,
and
nice.
I got this little fucking kerosene lamp that I'm obsessed with. Like from Shakespeare's day or whatever. It's like, there's something about this kerosene lamp. I light it up, and if it's dark out and I'm working on a story or something, I turn this thing on, and it's like a little ghostly companion. And I feel like the muse is there flickering with me. Like, what is it about this flame? Like, was it the embodiment of the mysteries of the universe? I get really tripped out on it. And it's somehow my little inspirational companion.
Have you always had this little nook to work in, or is it something that pandemic caused?
Oh, wow, good question. It's been here. I moved into this house 10 years ago, and it was the first thing that grabbed my heart when I came in. Like the house just kind of felt like a hug, and then I climbed through the kitchen, and in the back there's this little cozy nook area, and it turned out when I actually moved in to the house. The night I got the key, it came in, and I had to break into the house because the key didn't work, and none of the windows were open. And then I was like, I finally got around to the back, and there was the window that looked into the nook. It was like the special window of the house, and I somehow had a feeling like this one's going to be open. I'm going to slide my hands up, and then I did that, and the window broke.
Oh, no.
And I'm like bleeding in the dark. I can't tell if it's dire or not. And so I figured like the best move is just to continue breaking into my house. And I fell through like the clumsiest cat burglar into this kitchen nook. and it like the table was gone, the kooky art on the walls was gone. I'm like scraping my hands on the wall looking for a light switch, just smearing blood everywhere.
Oh my god!
It was a dramatic entrance, but as of around COVID time, I had a roommate forever, and he moved out, and so I had like all of a sudden like all of my matters of decency of like keeping things clean and like having an actual table for eating on went out the door. It just became this like collection for books and my watercolors and plants and journals and stuff, and it's really kind of turned into
great.
Now the story stuff. I've got like Post-its all around it with like different stories and trying to figure out how they connect, and so it's become a little bit of a lab.
That's awesome. Yeah, man. No, that is super duper cool. And it's good that you were staying creative the whole time during the pandemic.
Yeah, I guess so. Almost to a point of insanity.
Yeah.
Like early on, when it first happened, I was finishing up this 3-part web series.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, great. Now I got all this free time to finish up this series. I was also, working in trailers at the time, and my job went away for the first time ever. And so I just started focusing on that, and I finished that. And I was like, okay, well, now I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. And it was like 6 months later or something when I still couldn't get work that paid money that I started to really like sit with that feeling and accept that loss, because I had kind of blown right past it,
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden I'm sitting out in my backyard and I just start to sob. I'm like, dude, I feel like a loser, And I know I'm not a loser, but like just saying it out loud really let something out of me that had been like chokehold or had been like dampened down, And I started saying this to this dandelion. I just started like spilling out all of my feelings to this plant in the backyard, and I kind of earnestly heard it say something back. Wow. And it cracked me up. It's like, what are you worried about, dude? Just shut up. Just sit here and enjoy the sunshine.
Oh wow,
you idiot!
Yeah.
Drink some water, And it really started making me giggle, and so I kept doing it. I started interviewing these plants.
Yeah.
in sincerity, and I turned it into like a little whatever. Like I made like a little Instagram account, posted 20 videos or something of just these earnest conversations with backyard plants.
That's fantastic.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
I want to see those. I want to see those videos.
Question.
No, that's good. We need long-winded questions. We have time to fill.
Okay, great.
No, I'm teasing. So that's you just finished the 3-part series. You said.
Yeah, it's been a couple years now, but yeah, it's called Laurelhurst, and it's a series kind of about love and civil servants in Portland.
Did you write, direct, produce this?
I did, yeah.
Nice.
I had help along the way, but
hell yeah,
I was the one who kind of carried it from the beginning to the end, and I'm really proud of it. It's probably like 45 minutes in total, across 3 different pieces.
That's great, man.
And a lot of really talented actors and improvisers came on board with me along the way, and yeah, it's a sweet little thing.
That's cool, man. Yeah, I never got my call sheet, but that's cool. I mean, I must have been lost in the interweb now.
I think you must have been in the middle of putting together a play or something at the time, I think.
Sure, man.
Most likely.
Yeah.
You were too hard to get. Yeah.
Yeah. It was too. Yeah, the rate was too high. I can't.
Exactly.
Oh man. Yeah, I have a quote, guys. I have a quote. Not really, huh?
Long quote.
So what are you going to produce next or direct? Are you hoping to direct something next? Is that your next goal? You're directing something?
Actually, I did just finish up a couple months ago. I finished up directing a music video.
Oh yeah,
for this incredible band out here. Their name's New Constellations.
New Constellations.
Yeah,
what type of music are they?
I'm probably gonna mess this up, but I call it like dream pop,
huh.
Kind of 80s synthy, driving, dancey, harmonic. The singer has this just voice of 1,000 angels, wow. And then her counterpart is this like master producer, beat maker, banger, engineer. So yeah, they're a really cool little combination that are putting together an album right now, and they're kind of first track out of the gate. They wanted a music video for it, and so I put something together for that with the help of an army of talented folks. And so yeah, that was my kind of last at bat of directing, and now I'm kind of focused on storytelling. I'm still doing trailers right now, but as far as my creative side hustle, that's where my mind is at.
Yeah. So you say storytelling, define that. What aspect of the storytelling? Writing it, cutting it, a whole story together?
Yeah, well, I guess different things. So the thing that got me started on that, if I'll just get personal for a second, about a year ago, I was kind of in a dark place, trying to put together the pieces of my heart after a relationship dissolved, and just kind of looking for something to focus my energy on again. And I've always loved stories, and with trailers, I'm telling stories all the time, but I realized I spent so much of my life telling other people's stories.
Yes.
And I hadn't really tried in earnest to tell my own. Outside of Laurelhurst, that's a very personal story, but in terms of just like the old-fashioned, original Shakespearean experience of like getting in front of a crowd and bearing your soul, you know? So I started looking up for opportunities for that, and the Moth had just started doing shows again, like that month. And so the Moth, you guys might know, but for people who might not, it's this amazing podcast, first and foremost.
Yep.
That features incredible stories, but those usually start out as
CRW.
Just random people showing up to this thing, putting their name in a hat, and telling usually like a 5-minute is the time limit story.
Yeah.
Around a theme. So I just decided to try my hat at one of those, and it went really well. And like the first few of them went really well. I won the first couple I did.
Wow.
And it's a weird thing to have it judged, I think, but it's just part of the DNA of how that particular thing works.
Yeah.
And so I got really excited and started doing more and more and more, and I didn't really know where that was going to go, or like how that would ever could turn into something that I could maybe sustain myself on a little bit. I just kept trusting that for whatever reason, my heart and mind was being drawn to do this. And so I kept doing that. And just recently I met someone at one of these Moths who really liked my story and asked me to open for them. And they do like big hour-long solo storytelling shows.
Wow.
Yeah, and so that got me really excited to meet this guy. He's incredible. He's like one of the best storytellers I've ever met. His name's John Bennett, and he's up here in Portland, originally from Australia, and he would tour around the world essentially for like 9-10 months at a time, going to all of these fringe festivals. And that's how he makes his living. He kind of does different stuff now that COVID has affected that a little bit, and he's got some passport restrictions and things like that. But it didn't
he's a criminal.
Like turn me on to the idea that this is something you could actually do, like to make money. And so that's
wow.
I don't want to be so audacious to say like, oh yeah, I'll do that. But like I'm trying. I want to put together an hour-long show that I can take to some of these festivals and see if I can try to figure out how to support myself.
Dude, that's badass. Congratulations. Congratulations on that. That is super cool.
Congratulate me when I get a show put together.
No, but hey, starting it.
Just going for it, man.
Yeah, just
taking
starting
that,
it.
Challenging yourself and pushing forward through that is enough.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
It's very difficult to get up and bare your soul. You know, I think that's why, you know, most people have problems in life. It's just poor communication. You know, we all want to be good communicators. We think we are. And then when it comes down to it, we're too afraid to really say what we feel and what's on our mind. And, you know, you don't have to be a callous ass about any of that, but just being open and honest. And I think storytelling is a really good way. Okay, man, I was confused at the meeting. So I'm like, storytelling, what do you mean? You want to direct? You want to produce? You want to direct films? You're like, no, asshole, I meant live. I want to tell people live stories. That is amazing. Yeah. There's nothing like live, you know, nothing like
my God,
live.
dude. Breathing the same air and just like vibing off of the audience. And like, I never know how a story's going to go, like if it's going to fall flat or what. And so like the first 30 seconds in, and I get from the audience if they're totally tuned in or they're totally not. I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to zip ahead or like slow down and, oh, you like that part? Okay, let me go a little bit deeper into that. It's a live organism, it seems.
And you're improving this in the moment. You have
or you have your structure, your bullet points you want to hit. It's kind of like a
or are you taking
comedian.
it or do you write it out and like memorize it monologue form?
It depends. I try not to memorize anything, but for sure I work out the beats.
Yeah.
And I try to have like, because if I don't, I mean, I've never done it that way before until there was all of a sudden like, I got to tell this story in 5 minutes. I'm like, yo, this is a 30-minute story. I'll sit around a campfire and like tell this thing, and sometimes it takes an hour. You know, how do I do this in 5 minutes? And so it's been a really fun exercise to, in a way that I was in a trailer, just like, okay, like, what are the essential beats of this? What's the core feeling or story I'm trying to get across, and like what's the utmost pieces I need to get that point across, while still trying to think of like, if you just try to slam all the story down, that's not fun. So you want to have like live moments as well, where you get to improvise in between bits or slow down for like a bit of levity, or it's got to dance, it's got to move, and got to grip. So
you got to read your room, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So I think that's the most fun part. Like you can get a story down perfectly, but if you're just saying the words in front of a crowd, like I feel like the crowd can always feel that.
Oh yeah,
it's less exciting as someone who's kind of stumbling their way through the turns right in front of you.
For sure.
Yeah.
Let me, because this is in my mind now. Did you just say you're in Oregon?
Yeah, Portland, Oregon.
Oh my God! When did you move there?
10 years ago.
That's where you moved to 10 years ago.
I missed that whole part of Portland when you said you got your house. I was like, I assumed LA until you just said he's up in here in Portland with us. I'm like, wait, you're in Portland? Oh my God.
Portland, Oregon?
Oh my God. Hey man, well, that's a good excuse. I have a place to stay now.
Dude, come up.
I love Oregon.
All the space in the world, man. I got this kitchen nook. You'll fit perfectly in it.
Only if I can enter through the window. I want the full experience.
Yeah, dude. Well, I'll tell you what grabbed me about Portland was, so I was in LA with you, you know, and I'm bopping around, and there was a period of time where I went straight from college to LA, got right to the grind, and I never took a beat to just explore and like be a kid getting excited and inspired by, the endless horizon line. And so I'm doing that. I'm traipsing around Europe a little bit, and I'm exploring America, and I keep hearing about Portland. Like, what is this place about Portland? So I finally go and check it out. And on my first day, I'm just completely lost, wandering around some neighborhood, and I hear this hullabaloo behind a house. And so I poke my head around these bushes, and I see this crowd of people all gathered around this huge oak tree. And up in the branches of the tree is this canoe that's like somehow either been built into it or it grew with the tree, and now it's up in the air, and inside this boat is a puppet looking down at the crowd below it, reciting poetry.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, all right, Portland, you got me.
Yeah.
This is where I belong. Let's go.
That's badass.
That was really the inciting moment. It actually turned out to be this incredible, fortuitous thing, because the person who puts that together, it's like a monthly, just by word of mouth talent show that's been going on for like 100 months, however many years that is, like 10 years and some change. And that dude who's responsible for it, his name is Ollie Collins, who's also a really incredible Portland force who heads up this theater company, which I got involved in right away, and really became my first kind of home and community. And they put, among other things, they do this 10-minute play festival, which is so brilliant because it's, as you know, like theater it can be a little bit tough to get into, can be a little exclusive, and this is kind of community theater in the best way, where people who've never done stuff before, not that you have to have not had any experience, but like it's just a really open door policy that folks who maybe will never otherwise get a chance to do this get to show up and audition for these 10-minute plays. And it's amazing. You're seeing people up there who are like, CPAs. Yeah. And people just really like exploding into life and and blooming before your eyes. It's really special.
Hell yeah, that is, man. That's great. Oh, dude, I've been up to Portland a couple of times, and I like it.
Oh my God.
Back in the days when I was drinking, that place was great because the microbrews are amazing. You can just go from one to the next, get you some, some weed to smoke on, and just have a really amazing time. Go on some nature hikes. I mean, it's beautiful all over Oregon. I love it up there, man. But it's good to know you. It's good to know you're there.
Yeah, man. You got to come down for one of these play festivals. I guess it would be.
Just throw me an invite. I swear. I grab the lady and the dogs. We'll get in the car and we'll cruise right up, dude. That's a good excuse to make that drive.
Right?
I'm serious.
This really is like this weird, like there was a guitar player and a painter who were just wandering around the forest, and they met, and they're like, "Oh, hey, should we start a town?" And then maybe we got to cut a couple of these trees down, and it really did. I mean, I think it still has it, but when I first got here, especially, it was just like everywhere you looked, there was just art was just happening. Like people were painting on the walls. It's hard to find just a blank surface in this town, and it's just bustling in that way. And obviously, the Pando dampened a lot of that for the time, but it's been fun to kind of see things starting to grow through the cracks of the cement again.
Yeah,
and it kind of feels like, in a way, like the Roaring '20s, like we're all kind of coming out of some weird dark tunnel and getting excited by being around each other again. So it's been kind of amazing to be alive for that.
I think maybe humanity needed that, huh? We were kind of drifting too far apart, and that was nature's way of saying, "Hey, assholes, you do need each other, and you need to appreciate what you have, because literally they could take it away. They throw you in a cage, they lock you in your homes and say, don't go out, don't see anybody, don't hug your grandmas unless you're in a plastic bubble." And you're like, what are you talking about, man?
I really love that take on it. Yeah, and it's easy to take for granted, like what we have, until that shit's taken away. It's like every 10 years, we should have a forced. Maybe let's not go for like a year and a half this time, but maybe like a month lockdown, where you just gotta like hang out with yourself, get into crafts, learn how to make bread,
talk to plants,
talk to plants, fall in love, like whatever it is that people did during that time, like it is really special, and maybe we can do that intentionally.
I've got a question for you.
From now.
What was it? So when did you, growing up, first realize that you were going to be pulled in this direction as an editor or producer, director, and storyteller?
Good question. So as far as the storytelling,
that was more recent.
I'll just briefly touch on. My dad was a pastor, and so I remember being in church, I had to always make eye contact. Like I would get really good at, he would scan the crowd, and I kind of perfectly timed it for 20 seconds go by. I'm going to look up, make eye contact, make sure he knows that I'm listening, but every once in a while he would dip into a story, and I remember those to this day. Like some of those stories he told there, like grabbed me more than anything else that he ever talked about up there was the stories. And so that was probably like the origin, I guess, of my love of storytelling. But with editing, I think it was in college. Well, okay, this is kind of an old reference, but I remember Jay-Z's music video for 99 Problems. That video, the editing in that blew me away. I was like, yo, somebody put this together. And it's weird. You could go through your whole life without even having those thoughts. Like, oh yeah, this movie just fell onto the ground and tumbled into itself.
That's right, exactly.
There was a Mad Hatter behind this, and so that really caught my eye. And then I went to college for art. It didn't have anything to do with video production or editing or what have you. And then I just I started getting really excited by. I sneak into the tech lab, and you could like rent gear if you took a
class.
A TCOM class.
Yeah.
So I started just like dinking around and making music videos just for fun. And then I would sneak into the lab at night to edit them together. And that was like this whole brave new world. That was really exciting. I would just spend like all night there playing around and not knowing like how to even do it, like how to make a cut, how to make it result. I would just knock on other windows like, hey, could you show me how to like turn this thing on? And it was a fun way to learn without like any formal teaching,
That's
because
right.
I think it showed me that you really can just like play around and not know the tools, and sometimes that's can yield even more exciting results.
Yeah.
And so I was doing that, and then around my senior year, I had this cush job of being in a computer lab where all I had to do was just be there.
Wow.
And so it was incredible. I did my other stuff, but I found myself spending all of that time watching movie trailers, because Apple.com trailers had become a thing. It was like where you would go, it had all the trailers. And so every day I'm just like, pop, 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 obsessively watching these things.
Wow.
And similarly, that spark would go off like, yo, this is, someone makes these. This didn't just happen. Like someone is like in a lab cooking this thing up. And it really had it, to me, it's never been like, oh, this is 2.5 minutes of the best parts of the movie. Like, I know that's a big beat on trailers, but I really think that the best ones, and like at the top of its form, it really can become more than that. It becomes its own story.
You're exactly right. And I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm so excited because yes, with Diego and I, we were just watching a trailer for a movie that's going to be coming out. And literally it's that if it progresses you and moves you and you start getting into it and it builds, you're like, oh God, you want more, you want more. And that, 90 seconds that you got or 2 minutes, like that's an awesome trailer. If you're just watching it and you go blam and you turn it off halfway through, like you're not going to see that movie. Well, then the editor did not do their job, I think.
Right.
Because it's not just about, like you said, it's not just about showing you the best parts of the movie. You don't necessarily want to see all the greatest parts in the trailer, because then, like, why the fuck you want to go see the movie at that point if they showed you everything?
Right.
Tell a good story about that story, and then I'll go see it.
There it is. Yes.
So that's a craft in itself. And I'll tell you what, because I've shot things myself, as we all have, and I've tried editing them myself. And I'm telling you what, that is a skill and a talent that only certain people possess. And it's not just the shortcut of how to edit, but the proper way to edit each scene, the way that's shot to make the story work. Because you gotta, oh man, you gotta be good at that, dude. Because I edit it, comes out, looks Mickey Mouse, and I'm like, damn it, we shot it better than this. Didn't we shoot it better than this?
Yeah.
Dude, it's hard, man. Like, I don't know if anybody is naturally an editor, to be honest. Like, I think it's one of those things where I've been doing this, I don't know, 8, almost 20 years or something at this point now.
Wow.
And I still, every single time I sit down to do something, I'm like, well, this is it. Gigs up. You're going to find out. Sham.
Can't put this together.
Even a week into the process, like where I'm at right now on this thing, I'm terrified that they're going to, I'm not gonna have the goods come deadline on Monday. They're like, "Yo, who even are you? You call yourself an editor? This is trash."
Oh God!
Like for me, it's that moment where like it's always a struggle, and then it's like the 37th time that you come back to it, and you step away and you have an idea like, "Oh, what if I flip that around? Oh my God!" Or use that piece of music there, or like do a little tick, 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 tick track right there, and like do a little there, and all of a sudden it starts to kind of
come
flicker
together
to life and become its own thing. And at a certain point, like I feel like you're following it. Like you're just trying to keep up with what the story wants.
Just
to
along
be,
for the ride.
That's like the best moments of it, but it's pretty grueling.
Man,
a lot of the time.
Where do you find all your sound effects and your sound things, like your bites and your music and all this stuff? Is it stock stuff, or do you have a whole cabinet, or do you just steal it? How do you find it? Do you do it all yourself? Do you create the music and the little bits? Where does this shit come? Because I've tried in editing. I'm like, I need a specific sound, and I'll Google it, and I'm like, that's not the sound I want. It's close, but I don't even know how to morph that. But where do you find that stuff?
Dude, that is an art in itself, and I wish so much I knew more about how to make my own sound design and music. I do a little bit here and there, or I've got a pretty elementary way of morphing stuff to get it how I want it to be, or every once in a while I'll have like a stroke of intuition. It's like, oh, if I reverse that and then just like bleed that one part out and sustain it, then maybe that gives me a little But you're right, like that moment where you like have in your head, like, oh, I just need a
how do you Google that? That's what you want.
Yeah, exactly. It's tough, man. Like there are keywords after being in it a billion years of knowing, like, oh, that's a rise, that's a suck back, that's a boom, like a swell, a whoosh, a sting. Like you just kind of, for me, that's one of the worst and best parts of it is like just digging through troves and troves and troves of, like, I collect sound design from everywhere, but now the business has gotten pretty on the up and up, where like everything that winds up in a trailer like has to be verified that's from this source. This source. It's good. It's great for the people who make the music and the sound and stuff, because everybody's being paid now.
Yeah.
But it used to be like 10 years ago, it was just like, and you're ripping stuff out of movies, like, yo, that's an ambulance sound from that movie Ambulance. Bring Out the Dead, you know, you got some hospital walla that's just like tucked in there, and nobody really like, yeah, fine, let it slide.
Yeah.
But now it's like you got to really. So there's billions of tracks out there from. I mean, people have gotten really savvy with making library music. So it's a lot of it is stock that's just gotten really advanced. And you've got people like Snoop and other like Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross and all these guys who like are just musicians in their own right that also make catalogs for specifically for marketing stuff. Sometimes you get to work with an artist specifically who's already got a song out there that for whatever reason you think of it would be cool, and then you can kind of modulate it with them and, get the stems, which I really love to do. And that's, you get a song and like all the various ingredients of it. You got the strings, the bass, the drums, you like break it all out into 20 different layers, and you can play with that. And people go real bonkers with stuff, so you can really build a lot out of when you break things out into its core ingredients. Then it becomes its own thing.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just like, okay, there's a Jay-Z track. Boom, slap it in. Great, So it's really endless as far as how people pull their sounds together.
Yeah. Well, that's great to know, because, I've got a project I shot that I actually needed an editor for it, who knows how to do some shortcuts, cut some stuff together and get some loops. Need a couple of those. I'll send you the footage, though. You let me know. Let me know what you're ready.
Absolutely.
I actually do. I actually do. Diego and I worked on a project, and
cool.
Yeah, we got to go do some ADR for that, because the audio files somehow disappeared now. It's not that bad. They didn't talk too much. I didn't trust these guys with too much dialogue. I just made it visually.
Wait a second. I'm in this.
Yeah. You do the ADR yourselves, like for these other actors?
It's only a 2-person thing. It's part of, it's like a second episode of, we were doing, it's called Mind Masters, and we're just doing like little 10 to 15 minute short little, mini movies that are in the same vein of The Outer Limits and, Creep Show, things like that. Just weird, not really like, I'm not going to name drop on the really, really good ones that are on the streaming channels, but, like those kind of things, and just shorter versions. Because, when I watch a 30-minute one long of those, I'm like, it's too damn long. Sum it up in 15 minutes, and even give it to me in 10. And make it really badass, and then I'll move on to the next one. Then I can watch 15 in a row,
Like the old Twilight Zone series,
Twilight
right?
Zone,
They're just these little vignettes, or not vignettes, but these scenes that are spooky or something random happening.
If it's half an hour, make it fucking really good. Otherwise, give it to me in 10 or 15.
Yeah.
But we do have one of those, and basically the editing, I was trying to do it myself because my editor fell out, and it's been almost a year, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? Well, we shot it this year, right?
It's hard.
Yeah, and
oh my god!
But so we just got to do a few lines, some ADR stuff. It's pretty simple, but all the footage is there. I mean,
that brings me to what we were talking about earlier. Over the years, you've developed a crew of people that you trust. And it's hard to gain that kind of team around you to keep doing what you do. You think?
Oh my God. I think that's the hardest part. Yeah. I'm forever looking for people who want to play in the sandbox with me. And it's like, you got to kind of constantly sell people on the idea that this thing's going to be worth it.
That's right.
Because who's got the money to, like, I try to pay people when I can, obviously, but it's also like you're doing it for free yourself a lot of the times. At least I am. I'm not at that level where I'm getting stacks for this yet. And so it's really, it's tough to find the core people to bring this thing to life. And it's like a miracle. That's why I have a hard time with critics on movies. Like, oh, this was good, but the CG was bad. Or like, oh, I was dissatisfied with the ending. It's like, do you know what a miracle it is to make anything?
Yes.
Let alone a 90-minute movie that has a score?
Yes.
Are you kidding me? That's that should take 3 lifetimes to do that.
Yeah.
And like the fact that it even comes together is just such a feat that like I try to celebrate like even the little things. Like, okay, Cats. Y'all watch Cats?
Yeah, I saw Cats.
I love that movie. I was on shrooms at the time, so that might have
there you go.
swayed me. But I mean, yes, it was banana boats, but also like I'm looking at the fur on these ears. I'm like, yo, somebody painted every one of those little furs and how it moves in the wind just so, and the tails and all this stuff.
Wow.
It's like, that's bonkers to me.
I love how you see behind the scenes, you know, growing up in doing theater, you know, and you do a show every night, you know, 7 days a week somewhere in your local town, and your local people that come in to go catch a theater, they come there and they just see the final product.
That's right.
And a lot of them truly don't see or understand the process that it took to get to that moment, you know. And I love that. I keep hearing this in the way you describe a lot of things in this conversation, is that you look deeper in, you know, that it's not just what you see. There's something else behind it to help give you this visual. And that's beautiful. I love that.
And which is exactly why we are doing this podcast, because we don't just talk to actors. We talk to everybody. We talk to every single person, every aspect of the industry, because it takes everybody to put something together, and you want to know what are they doing their job. You know, everybody needs the recognition, and it is cool to get insight.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that's why well, thanks for saying that, and that's one of my. I'll turn this into another way of like the skip intro, like that kills me, or the you know, like at the end of a show on Netflix when it just skips the next thing. It's like, yo, there's 300 people's names that are about to pop up.
Exactly.
Who are crucial down to the best boy. I still don't really know what a best boy does. I appreciate him. You know? And like the boom, the grit, all these people like
catering, the people who fed 300 people a day, 2 meals a day.
Absolutely. The gaff, like everything is so vital, man. Like, you know, if you're slaying like 9 out of the 10 positions on this set one day, but the lights aren't right, or you don't have somebody to flag them or whatever, like it's just not going to look sharp. It's not going to be crisp, or your focus puller, you know, like if there's struggles there, or like some of the gear falls out, like it's amazing to me. And so like I really try to afford the grace that I hope people do with my projects, when you realize like how much time constraints are there too. Like people have lives, like you said, and like they're doing this on a weekend, trying to get out of there before 6 so they can go home and like make supper for their family.
That's right.
Same thing with like Game of Thrones. I remember that was everybody just loved to dog that last season, but you're like, yo, do you realize that they had grown so big that they had to end? They couldn't keep up with it. Like every year it had to be bigger and bigger and bigger, but on the same timeline, on the same budget. And so it had gotten so big that they just like, yo, we've got to bring the White Walkers in.
That's right. Let's clean this up.
Let's clean it up. Let's get home. You know, let's sleep for the first time in 10 years.
Yeah.
And so it's like
all that cash we made.
True.
Exactly.
Worth it.
So I mean, it's definitely not always. I mean, there's sometimes you're watching a thing and you're like, how did this happen? Like who greenlit this train wreck? But then, like I don't know. Then it's you know, think about like all of that, and you think, okay, this is actually pretty sweet, you know. And I try to trick myself into being like 20 years old in that edit lab again, just figuring stuff out and just like cutting from a DVD of Citizen Kane, you know, with all the sound baked into it and stuff, and how hard that was, and thinking about like, what if somebody made this horror film and they like gave it to you, and you had splits to work with, and you had like some weird sound effects going on and a couple like scares, like you'd be tickled to the moon to do this.
Yeah.
So just like remember to be a kid and remember that this is all like a fun privilege to play.
Yes.
And then you can kind of get into it and relax. And truly, I feel like the best stuff I've ever done has come from just playing. When I can teach myself, I can remember to just enjoy the process and slow down and not freak out by the deadline. And this has to be the best thing that's ever been made. You know, like. Yeah. That doesn't ever lead to anywhere like exciting or fresh, you know?
Yeah.
But if you play, then I think something cool happens.
Love that.
Hell yeah, I love that too, man. Play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Play.
Yeah.
That's
We
simple.
forget.
Yeah, and that's what you do in storytelling too, is you play. Are you acting in pieces at all? I know because you talked about the theater company that's out there, but are you getting deep into that as well?
I've been doing a little bit of that. In this web series, I acted in that, which was a ton of fun.
Nice.
And I've been doing a little theater stuff. This was the scariest thing ever, earlier this year, I guess. An old improv, she's not old, but an improv teacher from my past hit me up randomly. Was like, "Yo, I'm putting together this show. It's going to be a 90-minute, like, full-length drama that's entirely improvised each night."
Wow.
And I was like, "Well, that sounds terrifying."
Yeah. Yes, I'm in.
So I was like, "Well, I'll just go to the auditions just for, just for the fun of getting my ass handed to me." And I went to the audition and I bombed it. And I was like, "Gosh, I'm so glad that I bombed that, because that would be so hard and terrifying to do."
Oh.
And then I got the call, and she was like, "Yeah, let's do it. You're great." I was like, "What?
Oh, what?
Were you there?"
Yeah. I couldn't improv my improv.
Exactly. But that was so liberating too, because
yes.
I don't know. There's something about, like, there's this idea that, everybody's searching for authenticity, right? Like, that's what people crave. That's what TikTok is after. All these things are like, okay, what's your authentic, da, 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 da. And if you think about it, like, I don't know if authenticity is actually a thing, because we're all an amalgamation of the energy and people around us at any time.
That's right.
But we do have the potential for sincerity and earnestness.
Mm.
And so, like, I'm not like a talented actor. I don't feel like I have a really great memorization ability and stuff, but I do feel like I can tap into just being present, not all the time. But if I can just really slow down and just try to be there and look at my scene partner's eyes and really hear what they're saying, then I'll react naturally.
Yeah, man.
That's it.
That's acting is reacting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You still have that mustache?
I actually am wearing a mustache right now.
Yeah, I'm serious. You got that great mustache going? The great mustachios. I remember that mustache. That mustache was great, man.
Are you talking about the soapbox part?
No, I'm talking about your face. I'm talking about your face. Do you have a mustache?
I actually did just shave a mustache like a week ago.
No, you could always grow good facial hair.
That's hilarious.
It changes over time. I'm lucky to have anything on my face still, and so, like, I hold on to what I got. But I don't know. You guys getting older? What's your deal?
Oh yeah,
I stopped aging at 21, bro.
I'm embracing it, but yeah, man, I'll be turning 50 next year.
Okay, yeah. How's that been, like, seeing your body change and your hair go gray?
You stop looking in the mirror. You smash mirrors.
I was persuaded to do a little coloring, so I do a little tri blend, because I don't think I just sometimes when you get to this age. Sometimes I'm just getting to this age, but it's this feeling of, like, wanting to embrace it. At the same time, I also feel younger than the number. I guess we would feel that way. So I kind of feel like I'm not truly ready for all of that gray just yet. So that's kind of why
you want to look how you feel, and you feel young still, so you might as well look that way.
And I'll be quite honest. I think in my late 40s, I'm probably more healthy than I ever have been. Yeah. In my 20s and or my 30s. So
as well.
Yeah. What do you attribute to feeling most healthy now than ever before?
Are you hosting the podcast? Well,
I know. Wait,
are you? You just flipped the script here. Are you hosting now?
I know.
Yeah. What about you? Go ahead and answer first, Diego. Then I'll answer second. What do you attribute to your healthiness, your health right now? Good health. Anything?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm a vegetarian. Vegan at home, but vegetarian. And I'm not saying that because I became that I'm much healthier, because we all obviously know there's so much crap out there, even in the vegan world. But I just been more self-conscious about the way I eat and how I eat and things like that, and that's fine. Working out a little bit more often, knowing that I'm getting older and I want to kind of,
prepare your body.
Yeah. What about you, sir?
From the door, yeah.
Well, me, I quit drinking a few years ago, so sobriety got me into that, and I just started working out and getting really healthy. And it was really funny the first month, I lost like 35 pounds in a month. It was crazy just from working out and not drinking. I lost all that water weight. And then I got back to my fighting weight, my high school, like sports weight, which is just, skinny, stick bird chest and skinny. Wrestler would pick me up and break me. I'm a twig, but I'm a healthy twig. And at 45 years old, man, I'm really not complaining. But I feel good, man. I feel good. Yeah.
Great. Well, y'all sound good. Y'all sound like 22-year-olds and all that. Just youth pouring out of your vocal cords.
Hey, man.
Really inspired.
Thanks for saying that. Hey, you do as well. It's always a youthful energy coming from you. And to be honest, I think you've always really fit in the Oregon area. That laid back, hippie mentality, if you want to call it, just a really free spirit, good energy. And just like, you are always floating on a very positive, vibrant breeze. And I think it's a good spot maybe for you.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I try to. It's not always rainbows and kittens and stuff, but I try to just, if I can remember even in those darkest moments, just to have gratitude for what's around me. Even if it's just a squirrel outside the window who's being all cute, and I can, life's pretty cool still. Whatever else is going on.
Hell yeah, it is. Hell yeah.
There's a moment. I don't know where we are in the context of this podcast, if you guys want to get more into the granular sauce of trailer editing or just keep free-forming.
Oh, no, yeah, we were actually going to be letting you go soon because, we know you have stuff to do and you got a deadline to meet tomorrow and all that jazz, and we don't want to keep
even though we would love to have you back in the future episodes because it's
there's so much we can talk about.
Yeah. Oh, man, we didn't even get into trailers, really.
Oh, I know, but you know what? We got it.
I know,
dude. We that's a whole nother episode because you're doing so much stuff. It's so great that you're a Renaissance man and you have multiple irons in the fire, and we don't have to just talk about editing. It was good to hear about everything else. So,
right on, man. Well, I appreciate that. I gotta admit, this is a lot of fun. I don't know why I have to say it like I admit this. I've been harboring. This is fun. Yeah. But yeah, you guys are a freaking hoot to talk with, man. I'd love to just spend the whole day talking with you all sometime. I gotta get back down to LA and the old pad.
Maybe we'll take a trip up there to Portland.
Yeah, we'll come up there.
I love it.
Let's do it. Summer is obviously, it's a great time to be here, but you spend all winter just like tucked away, and then all of a sudden the sun starts coming back and people start coming outside and everyone has a beard somehow. Dude,
even the women.
So much. Exactly. Everyone just let everything go. And then they come back out and they're like, okay, maybe I'll do a push-up or something. Out there.
Everybody's got dad bod. I love it, man.
Fantastic.
But it's great here all the time. So
we'll come up.
Sincerely, I have a whole downstairs. It's just sitting there waiting
for us to sleep in it with air mattresses. I'm into it, man. I've always wanted to go to the Dalles up there. I want to go to the Dalles, so
the Dalles is cool.
We should go. Yeah. That'll be a good excuse to get up there and cruise around down the Columbia River.
Oh my God, hell yeah! Have you seen Wild Wild Country?
No.
Oh, watch that.
Okay.
It's such a good documentary about this. I guess you'd call it a cult. This community called the Rajanishas.
We did see that one. Yes.
Yeah. Dude, that's where that happened.
Wow.
Like, not exactly in the Dalles, but in that area. Like, Antelope Valley and stuff is all tucked in there. And then you see, like, the diner, the buffet that got poisoned. That's and you're, like, driving down, and you see that place, and like, oh, shit, here it is. And that compound is still there, but now it's like a Christian summer camp.
How weird. Crazy.
From one thing to another. I'm trying to get on that compound. I'm trying to find the secret doors and like underground layers and all that.
We'll go searching for the tunnels together. Maybe we'll find it on a hike.
Yeah, let's do it. Oh man, it's so good to meet you, Diego, as well. You know what? I think I have met you actually.
I think you have.
I think so. These years.
Yeah.
But it would be a great time to hang out and spend some more time with you, man. You're a great guy. It sounds like you're doing some fun stuff.
Amazing stuff.
And like I said, just to compliment on your patience with projects and things like that. And it sounds like you're in a great place right now, man.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And similarly, it was so fun to get to chat with you guys a little bit. Let's do another one where we can actually get into the sauce a little bit more.
Yeah.
Get into the nitty gritty of like how to actually deconstruct and
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Right after, let's do it after the new year. We'll bring it back and have some more conversation.
We'll do it next week. Absolutely. We appreciate it.
We don't even have to hit record. We can just talk.
Yes.
I like that too.
Yes. But we'll record it. Well, hey, thank you again, Travis, for all your time, man. We really appreciate you being here and being with us and sharing all your information with all of our millions and millions of listeners.
You bet. Thank you for doing this. We need more of this.
Yeah, we do.
So I applaud you all for taking this leap.
Well, thank you, man. We appreciate you and your time, and enjoy your holidays, enjoy the season, and stay in touch.
All right, man. Take it easy, Travis.
Have a good one, man. Good luck on your deadline.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
See you, brother.
Be good.
Later.
You're listening to The Actor Factor.
Wow, man, it's a blast from the past and really cool to talk to him, huh?
I know. You don't know where to go in conversation, I bet, when you know somebody for that long, because you just kind of want to dive into all these different, the scenarios that you've been in and all your memories that sort of flashing back before your eyes with somebody like that.
And it's like he talked about, we get deep into the sauce, how deep you want to get. Like, man, we got pretty deep and there's more deep. So it's always, oh God, that's so
But
exciting.
he's the kind of guy that you want to come back, because he's always working on something. And in this business, it's always something different. So there's so many different angles to have conversations with someone like this, who's a producer and editor.
Yeah, he's doing it himself. He's creating it all. How cool storytelling.
So,
you got to create your own, right?
I always found like that kind of like an open mic thing where people kind of come out. It's like, I've always loved to do this. And there's an opportunity for them to come and step out of their shell and do something in the creative.
Yeah, I absolutely love that too, man, because it's a good opportunity for people to do that. But all right, well, thank you all for tuning in. It was a great, great episode. We appreciate everybody listening.
Thanks for tuning in.
We'll catch you next time on The Actor Factor. I'm Brad Ashton.
Diego Garcia.
See ya.
This has been the Actor Factor podcast with Brad Ashton and Diego Garcia.